Okay, good evening. It is November the 3rd, Sunday, and that is the sound of a fog machine going off and then flames erupting from something out in the yard. I'm going to attempt to walk through and just show you what we're up to this year. So let's take a look. Flicker lights up here on the porch. Kind of panning out. See, there's moving lights, the sound of foggers, a lit pathway, spider webs, giant spider webs coming down from the yard, fog drifting through the air as the lights pan around. So the house is kind of searching for its victims. And there's a giant black widow lurking in the darkness over there by the path, as is the scorched scarecrow, who's still not working this year, but he looks cool. And kind of a flickering lit pumpkins all over the place, and tombstones and things like that on the one side of the yard. And of course the torches. This fenced off so nobody will hopefully mess with it too much. But we've decked out these store-bought tombstones and made them much more tombstone-y. So those are out here in our dead yard from the drought. And there's lots of little Easter eggs. There's a student loans pumpkin up there in the front left. And the ghost face from Scream. There's a check engine light pumpkin down here. Another little Easter egg for the parents and adults. One of the scariest things you can see. We pass by, kind of pan around. See, we have a 1% battery pumpkin light. And I trip over a rock. All right. And some tombstones. And here we would have a projector behind that tombstone that was doing animations on the backs of real pumpkins, so they would sing and talk and that sort of thing. You see the motion lights moving around. Okay. Taking the scene from over here. So those are just two DMX controlled cheapo Amazon lights under rain covers. They've done pretty well for 2 seasons. I expected them to break immediately, but they've actually been pretty cool out here in the weather. And our tent. This is new this year. It's the 10 by 20 carport cheapo thing on Amazon, like $250. It's black, which is great. It doesn't go anywhere. It takes an hour to put up instead of the month that the wooden one used to take. And it's reasonably durable, keeps everything dry, and you can set up a nice start to the haunt, the entrance in the front, and then coming out the side over there, so you can direct traffic through it and have like a welcome table. It's super cool, and it was really kind of cheap. So let's see, back over here. We'll go back over to that tent in a minute. Let's get this side of the yard. We'll get back to the flame in a minute. Past more pumpkins over here around our scorched scarecrow. He should be moving and talking and having fog coming out of him and being generally creepy over here, but we accidentally fried his electronics last year getting ready and didn't have time to fix it this year. So here he sits just looking cool in his pumpkin patch. And it's election year, the big one to see if Trump gets reelected or Harris wins. I don't want the house messed with or anything, so we just put out the giant meteor 2024, just end it already sarcastic political sign, which I love. So that keeps us neutral in the war, hopefully. And there's our Black Widow. Her eyes light up individually on a DMX control. They're each addressed, so they can light up in sequence or blink or whatever. She's really cool. And then there's a feature with the solenoid for water, so we can hook her up to a hose and she can selectively spray the people walking by, which we haven't done yet, but it can do it. So maybe we'll do that next year. We like to move this one around. She's the one ostensibly laying all the webbing, so kind of the matriarch of the place. She hangs out over here in the dark as they're walking over to the neighbor's house, who they also have webs and everything. They're super cool. The Warrens participate as well, which is great. All right, so that kind of wraps up the right side of the yard. We're on a cul-de-sac. See the fogger going off in the distance. Over here, we usually have that fire pit that we're throwing away. We hang out with the neighbors on Halloween night when we're not running the haunt, which hopefully the teenagers will do next year, so I can actually like relax. I kind of like designing and building it more than, but scaring the kids is cool too. I'm just getting old. All right, so that's the scene from over here. This is the edge of our property. We're gonna walk over here. There is a path directly up to the front door. We should probably block this because we give out nothing at the front door. So probably gonna block this off next year, except for all the Amazon people and that sort of thing. All right, heading back over. We have what we are lighting from the right is an egg sack. It's really just a milk crate with a bunch of plastic hemispheres glued on, wrapped in webs, glue on a couple spiders. And then there's a central hook up there and a bunch of carabiners holding all the different webs and bits in place. And that connects across over the driveway over to the other side. Over here, we have our skeleton, giant skeleton. He's we corpsed him out. We added liquid latex, dipped spider webs all over, and painted all brown and gray, and with a blood red mouth. And he kind of welcomes and holds the web up on the one side. There's a truck coming around real quick. All right, he's lit from below with a big fog machine uplit DMX addressed deal. So I can set it to any color, any frequency of fog, or time it to different events with the haunt, but I haven't done too much of that yet. We did like just a basic scene that looped out here this year. And of course there's tombstones and memorials, all kinds of them that we've decked out. We do have a friend who is in office, Sade Fashikan, who we hope will keep her place on the school board. So we're advertising for her, certainly. And this is our mountain laurel, which I planted when we first got the house. And then this thing has seen some really bad days, but it seems to be doing okay this year. It reminds me of a campus where I fell in love with my wife. So I planted it here. And then of course our traditional pumpkin kind of welcomes. Now the very first thing on the property is the most dangerous. So we're gonna keep an eye on this thing. But here in front of the skeleton on this side is a flame monument. So there's a fence, it's quasi-safe. There's a fence around it. It's clear of anything flammable. It has an auto shut off if it falls over. It is roped off in the back, and there's a giant danger, don't go here sign on the other side. So every once in a while, for effect, it will fire off a blast of controlled propane and light it on fire, which makes a really impressive flame coming out this side. I love this thing. I saw something like this when I was a teenager at a haunted house, and it blew my mind. You could like pay $1 or something to be able to press the button that made the dragon blast a huge ball of fire into the sky at this haunted house when I was like 16. And so I always kind of wanted something like that. So last year I got it and used it, and it was pretty cool. This year we just kept it. My friend Sam, Dr. Sam Nicholson, helped me with this. He helped me kind of build it and get it made out. So I dedicated it to him. So it's actually his funeral monument. It's in memory of Sam Curmudgeon Nicholson, and says he died of syphilis. I think sometime around the end of the pandemic. So Sam loves it. I love it. I think it's great. I'm going to keep it around until my, I guess, homeowner's insurance tells me I shouldn't. And even then, I'll probably keep it. Any day now. It's on a loop. It's like 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something. So it's got to be going sometime soon. Let's just keep an eye out. There it is. I told you it'd be worth it. It's great. So you get a view of kind of how people walk up to the house. It's pretty cool. The action is inside that tent. So we hope that they kind of come down this way. And kind of experience the yard, which seems to be looking for them. It's kind of what I play out in my mind as I was kind of programming this thing, which is really easy. There's just this basic software you use that lets you tell it what to do. So now that I figured out I can do stuff like that, I'm hooked. I think this is really cool. There's another kind of pumpkin in the cemetery thing here. And then the kind of the back, sorry, that's so bright. That's the digital park hand that's lighting up the scene. And it's flickering. And then over here, we can take a look. You can almost see that fogger down in there. What we do see are danger, do not enter sign. Well, come with me, we will be very careful. And if I'm not, it will be hilarious. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is turn off the gas on this guy. We've seen enough. The back drops off. It's got my instructions on it for what channel to set it to for safety. It's got all the connections, which you can't see in the dark. I reach my arm in and turn off the propane. We are now safe. Safety first, kids. All right, you can't see what I'm doing anyway. But over here you can see the fog machine. So it's providing this kind of changing up lighting. This thing always acts on cue, I love it. And they go out of this plastic box through a weatherproof notch, kinda, and connect over to the power I've running over here. I kind of hope to have an electrician put something over here, so I'm throwing all the damn extension cords, but it is what it is. Try to not do it for long. All right, and then over here, we have a glow coming out of the dark, and it's coming out of this little custom box. The box is about as big as the lid on every side, so picture a box like that. That's what's in there. It's weatherproof, and it lets me kind of hide this, I wouldn't say expensive, but I wouldn't want to lose it, light that I got off Amazon. Maybe 70 bucks. That's enough. I would be very mad if I lost one of these. So they're in a box, and the box is kind of tied down and it's locked when I'm not using it. So they'd have to go to quite some trouble to take it, and if they want it that bad, they can have it. But I won't put another one out. Yes, I will. Okay, that's coming out of the danger zone. Now let's look at the house from this side. Got the webs coming up from the fence to the house, down from the house, across the house to the trees, trees to the other trees, trees to the yard, trees to the fence. There's a lot going on over here. It's all just hooks and carabiners. And like I said before, this kind of cheap tent. There we go. This is our welcome area. My beautiful bride usually sits here. I don't know if she likes it. I think she kind of enjoys it on Halloween. We'll have to ask her. But it has the house rules. So as you come off the line, eventually we will have a line. We had 178 people come through this year. some of those people went through a bunch. Like, a couple of them went through like 10 times, but most people did it once or twice. There wasn't that much to it, but it was cool. And I wish I'd had something like this in my neighborhood when I was a kid. And that's why I'm doing this. I love Halloween. It's like my favorite because you can be super creative and you do something really fun. And I don't make any money doing it. I just do it to do it. Actually, it cost me, I don't know, $750 this year. Maybe twice that. I don't know, a lot. It's not insignificant. It's not like a huge chunk of my pay, but I need to budget it. So I can only do so much each year, and I try to reuse and learn and get a little bit better. So this is the first year I'm bringing it back. I used to do it on a different scale before we had kids. And I had like a gang of 10 dudes up to, usually it was like 3 or 4, but also random friends and strangers and neighbors would come over and help me build. And we had shirts. It said like, for each year, we'd get hammered and screw written on the back, and we would drink beer and play with tools and, build very unsafe things in my garage. We would take up the entire 3-car garage for 2 months. We'd start over the summer when it was 100 degrees outside and start doing this crap. Not all the time, but a lot of the weekends. It was kind of our social thing. And then, life happened. People got married and had kids, and life changed, and we just stopped doing it. I didn't have the time. I didn't want to have the time. I didn't want to spend my time doing this instead of with my kids. So here we are like 15 years later, and I still love it. And so I'm bringing it back because my kids are nowhere to be seen. They're busy. They're in band, and they have friends, and they're doing and living and being what they should be as 15 and 13-year-olds. But they're not much help at the haunt. So I've been thinking how I wanted to do this for quite some time. And so I'm starting to kind of screw it together. I have no idea what I'm doing beyond what I find on the internet, and most of that sucks. So I'm mostly just kind of innovating, I think, but I bet someone has done this 100 times before. Anyway, so this year we discovered that lots of people come to trick-or-treat way before the haunt is open. Like way before, like 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. And I'm just not ready. I want to go at dark, but it's not what I want. It's what they want. So we had, I think, 86 people come. You can count it later. And all they got was candy. Or they were missed customers, basically. They didn't go through the haunt, but they got the candy, and that's fine. But I really would like to share with as many people. They were disappointed. I want to leave this many people disappointed. Like, they came up to something cool and it wasn't open yet. It's like, well, yeah, I'm not trick-or-treating. I'm not going to go, like, back. Just, oh, well. Like, I've got places to go. I've got candy to get. So, like, I get it. So what I learned was to open earlier, like way earlier. Like, be ready by noon. Let's take the day off. That's fine. It's basically a holiday for me anyway. So this is our victim list. I used to have a version of this where we would, as people were waiting in line, we would like taunt the people coming out and mark them down as all victims. And then we would, if they were crying, we would keep track of how many cried. And if they wet their pants, as some little ones did sometimes, we would write that down too, to the hilarity of the crowd, which I think would probably not be okay these days. So we just write down how many went in. It's a quick and easy way for us to keep a head count and see what's going on. It's not 100% accurate. Sometimes we forget, but it's most of them. So this is anyway, our entrance room is just a couple of pallets. They're zip tied basically to the wireframe that it comes with or that I built. And we just zip tied or bungeed basically everything up. A couple orange lights, and we have one DMX fixture up here. It's a pin spot. It's misbehaving this year. It is doing exactly whatever the F it wants and not what I tell it to do. So currently all it wants to do is just change color. I'm actually telling it to do nothing right now. So I'm just going with it, and I just pointed it kind of generally where I wanted it, and it did not stay. Actually, it wound up pointing at the roof. After about an hour, I came up and figured that out. because I needed a water break, and it turns out I hadn't clamped the things down on the yoke all the way, so it slipped. Oops, lesson learned. Won't do that next time. Anyway, it looks cool, and it lights up the webs, and the webs light up the house rules. 2 to 4 per group. No smoking. Fog and strobe in use. These are for people's health, safety, and liability. 2 to 4 per group. Huge groups suck. Well, no one wants to go alone. Okay, so you might as well just say 0 to 4. But you get 2, 3, 4, but they try to come in like 8, 10. You get these herds of like teenagers, and they're no fun at all. And it's exhausting and annoying for the staff. Me. So no, 2 to 4 per group. You gotta have a size, plus it builds anticipation. No smoking, cause I'm gonna try real hard to stick with all the things I know about that I should be doing. So flame retardant on all these webs. It's expensive, but it's worth it. You dip it all in, and we'll have a irrigation system when we go into the actual house, and cameras for liabilities and all sorts of things. The cameras coming next year, fire suppression coming next year, fireproofing coming more next year, although I did a whole lot to eliminate that, except for these damn pallets. They're pretty. But I ever try to light a pallet on fire? It's hard. And then I have this cheap ass skeleton that I corpsed out. It is the least flexible thing ever. It's like an arthritic 90-year-old. You can't really use it in any particular way. It just snaps. But I used to have the giant skeleton ripping him apart and eating him, which was cool. But he's just kind of lame. So anyway, I used to have way back in the day on this thing, we had like a half a corpse holding a lantern, and the lantern lit the rules. And that's cool, but I didn't have time for that shit. So I took this cheap ass one, stuck it in here, broke his wrist the wrong way to point it down, and there you go. So we're working on this is the doorway here. I needed a portal. You know, once you pass that, you're in it, man. Like it's something you dread. It needed to look a little dready. So I ripped apart every pallet in the side yard, which I had that used to protect the guillotine. And I had to pull every damn nail out of the stupid thing, and then cut them all to size and mount them to this frame. It's got a wood frame in there. There you go, wood frame. And the wood frame snaps on the magic snaps. The magic snaps are these things. There you go. They clip on to the metal. You need that to attach anything like that. So that's what I was trying to test. Will that work at all? And the answer is no. The wood is way too heavy, and you have to heave it up, and so I use zip ties instead. All hail zip ties. Solution to all of life's woes. It's going to be a bitch taking it down, though, so... I mean, not like screws, but still pretty time intensive, so I'm hoping for a better way. Any ideas? I don't know. Anyway, stupid thing broke. It broke because the horizontal layer came out of the corner on that other side. That's where the tension was, and it just kind of worked its way loose. So the solution is to drill a hole through both and put in a screw that doesn't let that thing come undone. Then it's a perma joint, right? Or you got to undo the stupid screw. So downsides. The other things I could do, I could glue it. Same basic issue, less reliable. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. That's kind of some of what I like about this is the problem solving and kind of engineering that goes into it. So anyway, so you start off with this tent. This 10 by 20 tent. It's that big tubing. I don't know what that is, inch and a half, something like that. It's kind of bendy. It's okay. And when it breaks, it's easy to replace. Like I said, $250 for the whole structure. Tarps and everything. I had bought some sandbags for like $20. We filled them with sand from the play box the children used maybe 3 times in their entire existence, and all of those were over 10 years ago. So we repurposed that sand to Happy Times in here as sandbags. The sandbags, if theoretically keep it down, wouldn't trust it in like a tornado, but like for day to day, it's cool. I could add water. I could add like water bags and stuff. If I start having problems that start shimmying around, we'll add some water. No big deal. So for the haunt, what we used to do was giant 2x4 and plywood panels. And they were heavy, super heavy. They were splintery. They were hard to work with. If you wanted to run a cable or mount a light, you had to drill big holes into it or cut through it, and you're just hacking away at them all the time. They're getting more and more covered in metal staples and splinters and rusted screws. Like, it was horrific by the end there. So what I did was I donated it to the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. And why would I go there? Because they do a charity haunted house, and their charity haunted house needed some kind of wall panels, and they were willing to safe them. So, like, sand them down, blow the stuff out. It's dangerous, whatever. But I helped them out, right? And I got them out of my hair. That was shortly after we had the kids. I also got rid of a coffin that I'd had, like, hand built. But it was kind of sketchy as well. It looked cool, but, like, it was falling apart. Particle board and, like, nail gunned on trim. It was falling off, and it was heavy as fuck. And, like, you had to haul it up to the ceiling. I had, like, on a hoist, and you had to pull. And it was super sketchy and dangerous. And I dropped and killed someone once. Not killed. If it had landed on him, it would have hurt a lot and broken something very bad. Yeah. So we got rid of all that shit. And to good goodbyes. I missed the companionship. I missed the fun. I don't miss the danger. So what I came up with was, how about you use metal pipe? Just regular old 3/4 inch EMT conduit pipe. Why that size? It's kind of the Goldilocks of, like, strong and cheap. 1/2 inch gets super bendy at that length that I'm interested in. And 3/4 does not. And 1 inch is also heavier, more expensive, harder to work with. So how about no? So it's like the lightest thing that's durable enough that I can use it for a reasonable amount of time. Oh my goodness. Look who just joined us. Ow, ow.
What's up?
That's my beautiful bride.
Do you need help?
Do I? Yes, in so many ways. I think
Well,
I'm well,
I know.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
Any of this stuff.
I think it will bore you to tears. What I'm doing, it's a gift to future Matt, because he is going to want to set this shit up again and wonder how the hell he did certain parts.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going through that. Plus, it's kind of a record. Whatever. There's not much more to it, so I'm going to be out here a few more minutes. You're welcome to join. I think it will bore you to death.
Okay, I'm gonna take a shower then, and we should.
Oh, for the audience, I did not just spend the last amount of time just staring at her tits, although that is because I dropped the phone to talk to her, and so it dropped off your face. So the video is actually quite funny. I will enjoy that later. All right, well, have fun. I'll be in shortly.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Fog machine has incredible timing. All right, here we go. So they go in. It used to swing all the way open. You see the track on the ground there? That. Why is there a giant piece of cardboard there? Because the little wheel that I thought was so clever on the bottom of the door that looks like it failed from the scratching going on there. Anyway, it would get stuck in that rut. So I put in an old pin to fill the rut, and then cardboard over the top, a little bit of duct tape, and it rolled okay. It rolled probably 170 of the 178 times I needed it to roll. It rolled. So not too bad. All right, so in you go, and it's full of fog. I mean, full of fog. And, here we go. And the walls are kind of I was hoping for like a Paris catacombs kind of skull tunnel. So on the left, you've got like skulls coming out of the walls. They're milk jugs that we rinsed out with chlorine and let them air dry, cut them apart, and melted them over the top of these plaster skulls we had. They were like $9 on Amazon. It took maybe 10 minutes a skull. We made about 100 of them. Jana made probably 70% of them. God bless her. Best wife ever. But now we can keep using them. This is one that my friend Sean made, Sean Clark. He's an art teacher. He made it super cool. It's got boulders that come out and like there's skulls that are like fused together and like craziness, right? It's super cool. And in the dark, oh, by the way, the lights are blinking on a very, very slow strobe, like a nauseatingly slow, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing strobe. But when you do get little subtle flashes of light, there are faces everywhere, dead faces looking down on you. It is creepy as hell. It is so cool. I love this idea. And so it's full of this black plastic, right? So it's just I bought a 200-yard long roll of this stuff. And I just measured out the length, wrapped it around, punched some holes in zip ties. Boom, 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 3 across the top. Slice it with a rotary slicer. It's cool because you can't directly see in front of you at any point, but you can still see light coming through, which is really, really neat. And again, it's just like skulls everywhere. So there's 3 sections this year. That's probably all I'm ever going to do. These things are also zip tied on to the metal poles. I love this idea. You zip, 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 zip. Now it tears through the cardboard a bit. Yeah, it's not going to last forever, ever. But, I can always just punch a new hole somewhere else. It's pretty cool. So, and that's just yellow expanding film. And then I hit it with black, brown, and a little bit of gray spray paint to kind of make the eyes darker. It's really cool at night. Anyway, that's section 1. Section 2, you are completely enclosed. Plastic in front, plastic behind, corpses all around. It is really, truly outstanding. I love it. It's neat. And it held up pretty well. This thing, a speaker, loud as hell. It was booming, scary music on a loop. It got a little annoying. But I only had time to program the 4-minute loop. So 4-minute loop it was. But I have way more of that. I've got loads of scary music. So that's a lesson learned for next year too. And this thing over here says stolen from Richardson, 1505 Subject Canyon Lane. All my equipment is marked like this. Fuck you if you steal it. I'm trying to do something cool for you guys. Please be cool to me. So there's my DMX fogger. I'm in love with this DMX stuff. I'm just terrible at kind of configuring it for now. So it's just a matter of practice and plunking around with it. Blinking behind there is a timer. This year it's just on autopilot, baby. I said go every so often for about this long and toyed around with it while I was back here to kind of manually fiddle with it, and it was fine. It would be better to have it programmed to achieve a certain level. It's okay too. It's a little anemic. I stole him from the pumpkin guy, so he's actually, I intend him for the scorched pumpkin, but screw the scorched pumpkin. He's not working this year. The haunt is. Off we go. I didn't have time to get a new fogger, and they're expensive anyway. I spent enough on Halloween this year. And the pipe. Oh yeah, the pipe is about $10 a pole. I've bought about $400 worth of the pole. That's good enough for now and about half of next year. I'll need to buy a bunch more pipe. Not as much as you think. The connectors are actually kind of stupid expensive. And don't mock my cord management. I've done to label everything, and I knew what it was. But yeah, I'm pretty inattentive. I like to label stuff. Anyway, the connectors are kind of pricey. They're $3 or $4 a pop, and you need a bunch of them. But they're great. They work amazing. You just tighten or loosen the little torque bolt in there, and off you go. You can make any shape or clamp around the bar. You can make impromptu braces, covers, hang pipes for things. You can, do really neat stuff. And I can use my conduit bender and make curved shapes and rounded things, and that might be kind of cool. But I prefer to keep the pipe kind of simple. Just choose 2. Grab any 2. I don't need a bunch of different types of pipe. I need 2. Actually, like 3. I made the door. The door needed to be custom, so everything associated with the door is custom. But it's a one door unit. I'm going to build them all like that. Anyway, our extension cords run around kind of safely, neurotically, tied off when necessary. Everything's on a GFCI circuit. The load is pretty much balanced. Some from the side yard, its own circuit. There's some from the garage, its own circuit. There's some from the side yard, by the pool, which is its own circuit. And then there's some from the front yard, the front porch, which is also its own circuit. So it's like, like 80 amps or something. Well, not quite that much. Anyway, it's enough. More will be a problem. I need to talk to my electrician anyway. Oh yeah, and so then I use this thing called a boo box. And the boo box, get to the boo box. This thing is a boo box. And I'll be damned if I could wire it, but it's cool as hell. I can solder and I can make very small wires. So I've put little labeled connectors on everything, like the neurotic freak I am. Everything's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Keep it all organized and quick clamps to try to make my life easy. Open the yellow handle, stick in the wire, close the orange handle, and off you go. No soldering, no wire nuts, no electrical tape. It's fantastic. It's all low voltage. And I can stick a wire in there and connect it to the computer and do the real magic, which I kind of suck at. I do okay. I'm like a beginner, advanced beginner maybe. I'm not even yet intermediate really, but I'm working on it. I have 2 of these damn things. I think I'll probably wind up needing like 5. But let's just go with what we got. Maybe get 3, have a backup in case something breaks. It's another good lesson. And yeah, you do that and then it sends out a signal over DMX, digital multiplex, which basically everything like a fog machine or a light or an effect or a prop can be given a number or an address basically, and it'll listen for its address. And then when it hears its address, it'll listen for a number, and it can do that on a bunch of channels. So like channel 1 could be fog, and you could give it any value from 0 to 255. So like 122.5 would be 50%. Anyway, it's super easy programming, and the software is pretty cool. It makes it really easy. You just tell what kind of stuff you have and what kind of values you want it to have, and it helps you kind of picture it. Anyway, yeah, that's the basic idea. So anyway, back here with the mask. Also, the cobweb was a choke hazard for me. I got it wrapped around my neck multiple times. That was a dumb idea. I need something better than that, or a better hiding place or something. A very small haunt this year though. So you have kind of the entrance, the skull tunnel, the scare chamber, right? And the goal is to not have them amble through, right? You wanna get their heart pumping, right? They're scared, they're relieved, they're terrified. So I got them with the electric chainsaw screaming like, I want my meat, give me the fresh meat, the little one, and stuff like that, like demonically chasing the children and adults, screaming, crying down the hallway, dropping their candy onto the floor, and kind of bumping along this tarp, this bungeed along, and there's some spider webs. I've got a black light up here that's kind of giving it a nice amber hue and making their stuff glow and be weird, cast shadows and stuff out of this real dark foggy tunnel. It looks great. And that's the other half of that cheap ass zombie, or cheap ass skeleton, right? It's just injection molded. It's not even a foot. It's just like a outside cast of a crappy foot. It's covered in blood and webs, and it looks okay in the dark, with webs glowing all around, and they're all freaked out. It just looks cool. And I wanted, through another kind of web cannon, and you're getting some fresh air, right? Like you can feel it. You're coming out here, all right? Final hallway, lame. There's not much here. It's black plastic on EMT conduit and a little bit of webs, and will be full of fog. You can kind of see the fog be way more intense than that. But the problem is that I am still chasing you through the plastic. In fact, even out the door, I will stick the chainsaw right out the door, screaming like a maniac, "Give me back the little one! I want him!" And, like, it is truly, truly twisted. And people love it and go through it again and again and again and again and again. So yeah, I changed, I aimed to up my game. So this is the exit tunnel. Regardless, this is going to be the exit of the haunt, whatever it is. Next year, it will not go against the back of the tent over here. All right, this is actually the front of my garage. This is if I unzip this thing, it's my garage. This is where my car parks. So I'm parked on the street, which is fine. Anyway, so like next year that will be unzipped. That door will be open. And the EMT conduit frame will continue and into the third bay of the garage, and then through the second bay of the garage, and basically most of the first bay of the garage will be framed out just like this, with black plastic and tarps and creepy stuff. I also have like an air cannon that can, give a huge blast of air that I just didn't have time for this year. But I have an air system kind of worked out. And then we're going to add the irrigation system and the surveillance system. Because I'm a sane human being doing this for Halloween. It just makes sense. But it's a cool memory, right? For the neighborhood kids and for the neighbors and stuff. And it's just a way to give back and show love. It's very much a work of love of mine. And this year we put the tent up Sunday and Halloween was Thursday. I mean, we threw this up in no time, be it from the planned kind of stuff we had already prepared. We could do it quite quickly, but it was a manic rush and really stressful, and I had to take some time off work to make it happen, and it turned out okay. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased. It's way more than nothing, which is what most people do, and I just love doing stuff like this. So I'll be building my own props that jump and computer controls and more lights and all sorts of craziness will ensue based on the twisted ideas I can come up with or see online that I think are feasible. Yeah. So, we'll give it a budget every year and see where we're going. I have one cool idea next year for a half corpse hanging out. Like after you come out of that entrance room, through the door, behind the door is waiting a hanging corpse who lights up, opens his eyes, turns his head towards you, and it gives you the rules and like the story of what's going on. The Cedar Park psychopath or whatever the theme is or whatever. And he's funny and kind of creepy and sets the tone, right? But he also has a camera behind him. Just for liability stuff. He's like $1,400, which is way over my ouchie point, but I've thought about it and I can budget for it and figure it out. I'm going to take really good care of it. And then off, through the haunt, which I'm hoping will be populated by my kids' teenage hooligan friends, right? Like, hey, you want to come scare the crap out of some little kids? I can't see why that wouldn't go wrong. But my plan is automation. My plan is to automate it and then kind of be in there with maybe a friend of mine or two. And that should be enough, just to be fun and creepy. And it'd be cool to take donations for something else. Anyway, that's the haunt this year. I know this was long, but future me is going to love having a record of what the heck I did this year. So yeah, that's it.